Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and today I am going to share my spring favorites when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. So I have not a large list, I would say about 8 eyeshadow palettes that I feel are perfect for spring, and most of these you can still purchase, or maybe this will encourage you to go through your collections and use something that's older and not necessarily new. So if you want to see what my spring favorites are, then keep on watching. So I have a little list in front of me, and on this list, these are not all brand new eyeshadow palettes, and I did that on purpose because there were some cute spring launches so far this year, and I feel like a brand new product when it comes to a seasonal favorite, I don't think it should make the list. I feel like products that have gotten more than just a month of use out of them should be on this list. So I'm going to start off with the first one, and this is actually one of the palettes that I used on my eyes. I used several of the palettes on this list on my eyes today. Now the downside of this palette is that this one's expensive, okay? And this is from Pat McGrath, and this is going to be the Mothership 7. I hope I got that right, but it is the Petal Morphosis palette. This palette is gorgeous. I believe this is actually one that came out during the springtime. It could have been last year, but I'm not quite sure. But this palette right here is gorgeous. I know Pat McGrath has gotten a lot of not so nice things going on for her right now, especially when they're saying, oh, the special formulas aren't in these palettes anymore. Well, this is one of the newest Mothership palettes, and it may not have like the absolute like those baked formulas that you find in older Mothership palettes, but these formulas in here, these shimmers, are absolutely gorgeous. So on my eyes today, I did use the darker green matte for my outer corner, and then I used 2 different shimmers. So the first shimmer I used is going to be this gorgeous purple, very light lavender shimmer. It's more of a topper, but it is gorgeous, and it has a bit of a blue reflect and a bit of a pink shift to it. But it is super wet on the eyes, super shimmery, and it has like this nice lavender look on the eyes. So you can kind of see it, it's down the middle of my eyes. And then I also use like this dirty green gold shade. So this shade right here. And this one is not as translucent, but it is just as high shine and shimmery. So you can kind of see it. It's greenish gold, it's a beautiful shade. But I put this on my list for springtime, because I feel like you got your nice little green in here for a bit of like earthiness, but then you've got your lighter shades that are perfect for spring. So you got your purples, you've got a beautiful teal up here, and like the gorgeous green shimmer that I put on my eyes. So for me, this is definitely a spring favorite, and I also just really enjoy this palette, period. And then this next one is from Glaminatrix Cosmetics. This is the palette Grounded, or some of you might have it as Tones of Turd, but I like this palette for spring because it's really earthy. And so you've got some gorgeous greens in here, and then a nice beautiful row of shimmers and kind of shifty shades, but the yellows and the greens to me put together are very spring-like, and I like an earthy look for springtime because I don't always like the pastels and the bright colors, but I do like the more deeper looks, and I feel like you can kind of get this where you can do a deeper base and then add a bright shimmer to make it a little bit more springtime. And you can do this with this palette. But I mean, I also really like Glaminatrix. Now look at that shade right there. That is the shade Balanced, which this would have been a pretty shade to put on my eyes today, but I actually did not use this palette. But this is the shade Balanced, and it's like an electric yellow, and it shifts to green. And to me, like, this shade alone is perfect for springtime, or even the green in this one. And this is the shade Solid. And again, this is a shifty shade as well. It's like a bright green that kind of shifts to pink. So it's this shade right here. And I think it's perfect for spring, especially if you like your looks to be a little bit more moodier. And speaking of like earthy tones, this palette is also pretty earthy. And this one's from Milk Cosmetics, and this is going to be Gemini. But you can just tell, looking at this palette, it is very, very earthy. So you've got your greens on this side of the palette, and then some browns on this side of the palette. So if you're going for a neutral look, this is perfect, but you kind of want your neutrals to be colorful, the green. Now, this next one is called something different on their website, but it is a palette you can still get. It's the Blend Bunny Cosmetics Sugar and Grunge palette. Now, this one is if you want those pastels for spring, but then you also want it to be a little grungy as well, because you get both. So you get your row of pastels here, and then just a little bit brighter, then some grungy tones, and then you've got some shimmers. Now, on Blend Bunny's website, like, this palette has been redone into Sugar and Spite, and the layout has changed, but the shades are the same, just the names are completely different. But I really like this palette because I always like some depth and kind of grunginess to my eye look. I don't like everything to be pastel, but I have no problem mixing both of them, so I kind of get both. So you get jewel tones and pastels, and then of course if you wanted to make your eye look pop and you wanted to shimmer, you got them right here. And Blend Bunny has a really beautiful shimmer formula. So this one is in the shade Prom Queen, just a little peachy, perfect for spring. That is that shade right here. It is a beautiful shade, and it is like high shine. It's not like a duochrome, but it's still a really nice high shine shade. This is another palette that's been redone, but I believe it's been reformulated. But I have the original formula, and the original formula works just fine. And I have this on my eyes today, but this is from Nomad Fets de Provence. So this is like their France palette. Well, I think they also have a Paris palette, so I guess a different France palette. But this one's got some really beautiful shades for spring. It kind of reminds you of like flowers blooming and the little peaks of sunshine. So you've got your pinks, peaches, yellows, purples, and then some depth at the end here. I currently, on my eyes today, I have the pastel yellow matte in my inner corner, and then in my crease I have the darker yellow. It's kind of like a mustard yellow, and blended those two shades together to create the color that's on my crease. But this palette has just beautiful springtime tones in it, and every spring, year after year, I always pull this out because I really like what I can create with this palette, because I can go with the yellows and use another palette for greens, but then also these yellows and pinks look really great together, or these yellows and purples look really great together. And I just really enjoy this palette. Now, I wasn't going to put this palette on my list because I didn't think that you could purchase it anymore. But when I was browsing Danessa Myricks website, I saw that this palette is actually coming soon. So seeing that, I believe it's being re-released. But this is the Danessa Myricks Mini Freedom palette called Pastel Dream. So this came out last summer, and so you got your beautiful matte pastels here, and then your shimmers right here, and your multi-chromes. I love every single one of my Danessa Myricks palettes, but this one is perfect for spring, especially if it's being relaunched. Because I know they just came out with like the neutrals, the Magic Neutrals palette, and I'm sure other people are regretting not purchasing previous ones because the quality is fantastic. They are trending, but there's a reason they're trending, because they are great products. So this one has your pastel shades and your pastel duochromes. I'm running out of places to swatch, but I'm swatching the pink and the blue one right here. So you have the blue one that's right here where it's got a green shift to it, and then your pink one that kind of has a purple shift to it, like purple to blue. These are beautiful shades. It's like if you're looking for a perfect little mini pastel palette, this is perfect, and it's also great to make mermaid looks as well. This is the last palette, and unfortunately, this is the only one on the list that you can no longer purchase. But I mean, to be honest, I'm like, this is a palette that I like to use, and I say palette, these are palettes that I like to use during spring. So these are from Huda Beauty, and these are the Pastels Mini 9-pan palettes. So you have the Pastel Lilac. So these are all gonna be your purple shades, and each one of these palettes, they have more than just what they say. So this has got some purples and some nudes in here. There's even a pinky shimmery shade right here as well. And then you have the Pastel Mint. And so this is going to be all of your mint shades, but you still have some nude shades in here. And then the last one is going to be the Pastel Rose palette. This is the one that I have on my eyes today. And so I actually have the yellows on my eyes because this palette has pinks and yellows in it. So I have this shimmery yellow shade in my inner corner. Oh, I did use the purple one. And then from the Pastel Lilac shade, I do have the purple. I have this purple right here underneath my eye. So those were my spring favorites. Let me know down below what spring palettes are your favorites or your go-tos. And until next time, bye y'all.